The best thing I've learned is if I feel uncomfortable every day, it usually means I'm doing something right. And so I don't think Alex, Ryan Pineda, all the big guys, like I don't think any day they're feeling good, but they're not feeling they're usually uncomfortable because they're taking more and more action, you know. So
Yeah. What's up, everybody? I am going live here. Where is the participants? What's up, everybody? Gonna get Will on here, and we're gonna talk about all the mistakes that I have made in my journey. It's definitely been a lot. And so I want you guys to learn from everything, because it's better that you guys learn from other people's mistakes than to make them yourself. Now, you still got to go out there and take action, but at the end of the day, your learning curve is cut way shorter if you just pay attention to other people that are doing that, what you wanted to do, and find out what they did wrong, and then don't do the same things. Right, Will? What's up, my man? Can't hear you, man.
Hey, sorry about that. I couldn't hit the mute button, but man, I think you're right. Like, why take the bumps and bruises yourself, right? Somebody around you has already done it. Reach out, get some help. I think it's just so monumental to have a mentor in your corner, and that's why I do this with you, Alex. It's easier to have somebody to bounce back and forth on, and I could have done this too, but I would have been on a 5-year trajectory like you were. Well, now I just kind of sped that process up and said, hey, let's, why not just cut some of that timeline out, right?
Yeah, and a lot of it's ego, right? You're just like, I don't want to go work for somebody. I don't really want to. I can figure it out. There's enough information. I'm smart enough. I mean, these are all the thoughts that you guys are going to have, and I've had the same ones even when I was working for people, because I'm just like you guys. I think that this is not a complicated business, and if I work on it hard enough, I can figure it out. But there's the nuts and bolts, there's the nitty gritty, there's being there with somebody that's been in the ring and taking the hits. And that's what we're going to share with you guys today, because I've taken those hits, and I'm going to share all of those that I was able to think of that were the highest of value, and we're going to talk about that. Let's go.
Should be an awesome one. Again, I think people always look at the bright side of real estate investing and the good side of it, what it can produce, but sometimes you don't necessarily look at the bumps and bruises, the band-aids you had to take along the way to get there. So as always, guys, we do appreciate everybody who's coming back. Our usual tribe, we appreciate you guys, and anybody who's new this week, we welcome you as well. Welcome out to hear from you today. As normal, go ahead and use the chat button down there, guys. If you're coming in from a different area, chat in for us. Let us know your name, where you're coming from, and what market you invest in, and let us know your IG handle so we can find you as well. Would love to stay connected with you, right, Alex?
Oh yeah, we always want to connect on social media. You guys know where we're at. We're always connecting day by day. You guys are watching the journey. You guys are on your own journey, and it's just cool to stay connected and see what everybody's up to. And let's just get after it together. That's what it's about.
So guys, you heard it. We're gonna have some fun stuff going on here today, talking bumps and bruises with Alex. Before we do, though, just want to put this out there for you guys. We want to bring a couple people onto the screen here at the end of the webinar. So if you have a bump or a bruise or something that you've gone through, a lesson, a mistake that you want to share with the tribe, and this is your chance to kind of pass down something and help somebody else from hitting that same roadblock, shoot me over a message here via chat, and just chat me over that you want to share. We're going to bring a couple of you guys on here so that you can share your biggest lessons after Alex shares his, and would love to kind of get you guys on. And in the meantime, Alex, give us a quick update, like what's going on in your life. I know you haven't been in LA, you haven't been in Hawaii. Where are you, man?
Yeah, thanks, Will. And thank you for holding things down over there in LA and SoCal, along with the team. And then also, shout out to Alex Ibarra, taking care of things in Hawaii. Well, I have been in Mexico for the last 2 weeks. First, I was in Guadalajara, and we jumped over to Cancun yesterday. So Jay Martin, my buddy, and I are here. We did just have another special guest, another investor come out and hang out with us. His name is Saj. He's a very big investor in the Bay Area, and they are close friends. So good to have another investor out here, and we're just networking, enjoying, the great weather, the vibes down here. I love the time that we spend in Guadalajara because got to hang out with our, our main virtual assistant, right? Will, we're talking to this person every single day. And now to be able to spend time with her was super valuable and fun because I have family in Guadalajara. She's also, providing a lot of value for our business, helping us move it forward. And then also get to experience my roots because my mom was born in Mexico. So I have a lot of family, and just being able to, connect with all of them and stay connected with them is super important to me. And that's why we do this, guys. We do this business so that we have choices, we have freedom, we're able to go do things consistently. And then the team is not sour about me doing this because I am all still working. I'm still connected with you guys. People don't see this, but I'm on my phone all the time as well, and not when I'm in front of people, right? I try to be present in the moment, but the rest of the day and of me being out of town, I'm still, whatever time zone I'm on, I'm working, taking phone calls, making phone calls, sending emails, sending wires, whatever I need to do to make sure the business continues to move forward. So we can't ever slip up in execution and taking care of business, but there is a way where we can do both, guys, where we can enjoy the lifestyle and at the same time handle business. But it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of great habits. And so, yeah, man, I'm super excited. That's what's been happening. I'm going to be here in Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Cozumel for probably in about another week. And then I'm flying over to Las Vegas, meeting you, Will, at the Vegas pool house that we're going to be staying at for the Future Flipper Ryan Pineda Mastermind next week, right? And so I'm super excited about getting back into the States. And then from there, I'm going to LA, and then I'll be back in Maui at the end of June.
Awesome. So guys, I just dropped a quick poll question. Like I said, do you have a big mistake you want to share? You just heard Alex's update. I mean, the kid's out of control, flying across different places in Mexico, just connecting with family, which is, like you said, that's ultimately why pretty much I'd say 90% of the people in this room are doing this, right? Is for family, for time, for leisure time, so that you can have leisure time with family, maybe a combination of those things. So I think that's really awesome to hear, Alex. And I think people, aside from your team, really appreciate hearing that you are able to get out there and travel as a result from the hard work that you've kind of put into your business. So what I'd like to do now real quick is we kind of talked about Alex and how he's, designing his lifestyle right now and able to continue to travel and get out there and do the things that he wants to do. That was our special guest from last week. The week before that, we were talking about JV deals, right, Alex? And want to actually bring on a special guest real quick here today. This is our guy, Nick Mobley, and wanted to just bring him on real quick as a special guest. He's out at the airport right now, so I know he's getting ready to make a flight out, but still just dedicated, checking in every week on the webinar, and we appreciate you, Nick.
Let's see if we get him on.
Let's see. There we go. What's going on, guys?
What's up,
we're like I said, we're always working and always negotiating. Like literally, like with the TSA agent, you're like looking at him, you're like, hey, how can I get around this line of people? Like, let's negotiate about it. Like everything we do, guys, like always working.
Can I make you a cash offer and skip this line?
Yes.
I love
it. Just show the LLC, you got to flex it. I've got no cash at all, guys, by the way. That's why we're JVing everything.
So Nick, I wanted to talk with you about that. And again, we kind of jumped into JV deals a couple weeks ago, and something kind of went off in your head. You had a light bulb moment, and you realized, hey, somebody needs to bring the deal, somebody needs to fund the deal, and somebody needs to kind of take down and manage the deal. And, how did that light bulb kind of go off for you?
So at our previous job, it took really hard work to get deals. And so if we ever got a referral, we would send them Venmo instant, like $1,000. We'd be like, thank you so much, because you just saved me hours and hard sweat and tears of like getting a lead. So when it came to learning real estate, sorry about that. When it came to learning real estate, all right, sorry about that, guys. When it came to learning real estate, I heard a lot of people saying like they didn't want to share profit or share deals, and that like blew my mind. I'm like so when I found out higher up people doing fix and flips like Alex would JV a deal with you, I was like, there's no way. Like, why would he waste his time for half the profit, And so when I started about how hard it is to get deals and stuff, I was like, there's no way in heck I'm going to try to do the first deal on my own. If we can get someone to put up their money, their knowledge, you can call them at any time you want. They have all the risk and you're just learning and making profit at the same time. Like it's a no-brainer. And so I told myself, I did 6 months of research, and I finally told myself, okay, you're not gonna be able to make any action if you're working at your regular job. So like full on quit with just a little bit of savings. My wife was like, I trust you, you got this. And I was like, I don't even trust myself. Like, I don't even got this. And so just kidding. So no, I believed in myself and I just started taking action. And like 2 weeks in, we started looking at a deal. I called Will because I was like, I can't bother Alex right now. He's out partying. And so I called Will and I was like, Will, what is this? Can we do something with this? And he's like, let's lock it up. And so the whole time just negotiating, and yeah, so we're almost closed next week with this deal, and it's a sweet deal in Palm Springs, and there should be more coming. And so that's the process right there, guys.
Awesome. I love it.
And again, I think it's awesome because it's just right on the heels of something that we had talked about, right? So, for those of you guys that don't know, I split deals with Alex, and the reason I do that is because Alex knows how to do this business, right? Of course, I could flip my own house, but I don't really know that much about construction, and I really don't know that much about the financing side of things, and I really don't know that much about the management of construction. But one thing I'm really good at is getting on the phone and having conversations with people and negotiating with deals and talking with agents and creating relationships. So I can kind of focus on those things that I'm good at and let Alex focus on the things that he's good at. And that's what a JV deal is. It's a joint venture. And you hear, Nick mentioned it, Alex, big time people do these things, right? All the way up to the top, people are doing these.
Absolutely. And, again, credit to Nick and taking the action that it took to get the deal and then having the right mindset, because I think those are the two biggest keys to what he just said, that he had the right mindset going in, like, hey, I've seen this work in another business of mine. And then now I'm transferring the mindset over to another business and see if it's applicable. He didn't assume, but he just saw like other people's weak way of looking at things, just like I did. When I went in, I'm like, well, I don't care about making way less if I'm going to be able to learn from this person that is clearly at a high level and he's clearly making a lot of money. Why would I not want to, be as close as possible to this guy? It's just a way of thinking and just removing your ego from it. And then the other one, taking the action. And then I saw that with Nick constantly, he'd ping me, but he wouldn't bug me because my time is scarce. And it's just because I have a lot of deals and things that I have to manage. So it's not that I'm special. It's just that I have a lot more on my plate than maybe other people. And so he recognized that. And that takes some sort of kind of social intelligence, guys, where, I could relate this to like my relationship with Brandon Turner. Thousands and thousands of people would love to be his friend and be in his circle. But I make it very easy for him to be my friend and very easy for him to potentially do business with me because I understand the context of our relationship and I don't try to overstep my boundaries simply because I'm taking action, simply because I believe myself. Nick said something super important right there, guys, that no matter what, he believed in himself. And that is also another big key of what he said. Like, I don't care, what anybody thinks about me. I have to care about what I think about me more than anything. So just want to kind of just dovetail of what you just said, Nick, and then also what you're chiming in. Well, that was fantastic. What we just kind of discussed there, guys. Learn that mindset, the action, and then things will happen.
A few things I wanted to add on is one, guys, when you start, we all know we have to have a team together, but on your first deal, your team's going to be like a virgin. Like there's no experience. You don't know anyone, even though you've hired them and you talk to the contractors, most likely you don't know them that well. And so when you JV with people, it's like you're taking that money that you're losing or sharing or whatever, and you're applying it to a well-oiled machine that's already running. So like when I sent Will a deal, all of a sudden like a whole email blast goes out, deals off to the whole team. People are taking action, getting it done. And I'm just sitting back like, man, I could just do this all year round. I could just send deals. So here's the key, guys. If you want to be friends with Alex, you got to give him like 5 deals and then you can bug him on like Snapchat and stuff like that. But another thing I was going to say, so I've always been the entrepreneur style person. And if things ever felt uncomfortable, I would like look it up on Google and stuff like that. So with real estate though, everything's uncomfortable and there's no Google. So like I'm now up to a different level of you have to talk to people that have been doing it, and they're not going to share it on Google, and most of the time you have to like pay big money. And so instead of calling Alex and being like, hey, how do I find a deal in SoCal? I said, hey Alex, I got a deal in SoCal. How can you help me get the deal signed up, and let's JV it. And so always don't be afraid to ask if you're bringing value to the table. And yeah, I just like I see a lot of people, and not bashing their strategy, but they'll start so small. They'll save up for years. They'll be like 3 years of savings to do their first flip. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, I would rather take 3 years right now and just start with other people. And in 3 years, I mean, most flippers, you look at them in 3 years, they're pretty well off, instead of just waiting to save it up. So yeah, always just taking action. And the best thing I've learned is if I feel uncomfortable every day, it's usually means I'm doing something right. And so I don't think Alex, Ryan Pineda, all the big guys, like I don't think any day they're feeling good, but they're not feeling they're usually uncomfortable because they're taking more and more action. So
Yeah, I agree, because I'm more uncomfortable with the more deals we do, the more capital requirements, the more the execution that has to be on point, because it's a level of complexity. So you're right, and I say this often, I'm like, oh, it's not like it's gonna get better. It's gonna get easier. It's that you're gonna get better. It's just the way it is, or it's gonna get harder because you're not getting better. So I mean,
yeah, don't get it confused, guys. It's a good uncomfortable. It's like an instant drug. Like at my previous job, you'd get a sale and it's like, oh, it's a rush. And so these are a lot more complex. And so just the rush that I got when I got my first deal I was just sitting there like, man, this is it. I believed in myself. Now I can take 6 months off. No, but we just now it's just time to get more. And so yeah, we're already crushing my current goals. And so yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Awesome. And guys, I love the last thing that you said there, Nick, about just kind of really diving in and you quit your job, right? And so this was something that you knew was like, all right, this is a make or break moment. And Tony Robbins talks about this, like burn your bridges, right? Once you burn your bridge and you know that I have to get this done, it makes it a lot easier for you to understand like this has to happen. And we talk about this, right? Like Alex, a couple of your buddies from the Maui Mastermind are doing a mega partnership, a mega JV deal. AJ Osborne and Investor Girl Britt, they are doing a mega deal together where Britt is working with AJ on a storage unit conversion. They're JV partners, and the reasons you can think behind that are, hey, she wants to get into commercial, he wants to grow his following. They have a kind of alignment there, and they can both help each other out, and they can both take down a deal in the process. And so I think, again, roles and goals, these are things that we always talk about. And Nick, you nailed it, right? You said, hey, I know what my role is. I know what my goal is, and I'm hitting my goals, and I'm developing the role. So I love it, man.
Yeah. So I like, this world was not created off one person. I mean, you got Elon Musk and he's like out there tweeting all this great stuff, but like he literally is backed up by thousands of the smartest people that are way smarter than him. And so everything's built off of other people. High level people are JVing with other high level people because guess what? They have other stuff to offer. And not everyone can be a genius at everything. So yeah.
Awesome.
Well, brother, I appreciate.
Oh, and the quitting the job.
What was that?
Quitting the job. Don't suggest it. Don't do it, guys. No, I'm kidding. So we just have like 3 months of reserves, and I know it goes against like everyone's advice, but like I believe in myself, and like I'll just get it done. I mean, I bought the Ryan Pineda's thing, and like I was sitting there like for a split second, I was like, this seems crazy, and I was like, that sounds great. I'm gonna do it. And so, yeah, just constantly taking action. And I mean, I have a wife and kids, so it's a little stressful, but at the same time, like I've already gotten 2 deals in a month, and now it's just time to like crank it up even more. So yeah, and I know I can always go back to the previous job. Like I still have all my accounts and stuff, but that mindset right there is not going to get you anywhere. Like you can't go back. There's no going back. I don't want to knock doors anymore. Unless it's for real estate.
Keep the pedal to the metal, man. Don't go back.
Awesome.
Brother, we appreciate you jumping on. I know you got a flight to catch, so thanks so much for
thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
And we'll see you soon. All right, bro?
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Good seeing you.
So Alex, again, good to have Nick on there. I think it's just a true testament to people that are kind of, listening in on the webinar weekly, participating in on the Facebook group, taking action, asking questions. And, if you ask enough questions and they're the right questions, the ones that Alex talks about, the action taking questions, you're going to find some answers, and they're probably going to be good answers. Like, hey, can we take down this deal? And yeah, we can help you take down that deal. So on that note, Alex, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you've made as an investor that you wanted to kind of share here with the tribe this week?
Yeah, for sure, guys. So we're gonna just kind of start at the top. We went ahead and thought of the top 10 of my most costly, hurtful, difficult mistakes that I've made in this real estate journey. And we're gonna start with number one. The first one that I had that I want to share with you guys is not getting started soon enough. And I know you guys have freaking heard this before. And I just wish I would have went all in earlier because, at the end of the day, like I found out about this business sometime around 2014, 2013, but I waited about 3 years. And so it's like a 3-year, 4-year gap that, I didn't pursue getting involved in full-time real estate investing. And I feel like that cost me, millions of dollars. I really feel like I could have made multiple millions of dollars more and been up and been potentially financially free if I had started earlier. Now, your situation might be different, but I think that's why I'm so big on pushing people to take action, because if I procrastinated for 3-4 years and I had real estate experience, I had the sales experience, I had bought property before, I had made some money before, and I still waited some time. What does that mean for other people that don't have some of those, maybe some advantages that I had by having that experience? So that's why I push people, just get started, because then you get that experience and then you're not going to wait 2, 3, 4 years to do something that you could have did maybe in that first year.
Everybody says that, Alex, like, why didn't I start earlier? Right. And again, I think that's why a lot of people here in this webinar are coming out, right? They want to get their feet wet. They want to get started. They want to take that action and get things going. And again, it just takes a couple small steps, you guys. It doesn't, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? That's why we have people share their small wins in the Facebook group. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link in here one more time in the chat. And if you haven't had a chance yet, guys, please go onto the Facebook group and share one of your small wins, because if everybody shares a small win, you're going to see something else that somebody else is doing that you can implement into your business that's going to just crank that wheel, oil that well just a little bit more and keep the machine going. So, Alex, I think that's a huge lesson that you learned there. And I think it's one that other people can learn as well if they want to kind of accelerate that path to becoming a multimillionaire, right?
Yep. And to just echo what you said on the Facebook thing, is we created the Facebook group not because we just wanted to have a Facebook group, because we wanted to continue the discussion. We wanted to continue the tribe to be able to collaborate there and then, pump each other up, things like that, because there's so much negative news out there. It's easy to get discouraged. So if you see other people out there like, man, they're doing this and they're doing that, then it's going to influence you to feel like you can do a lot as well. Or just give you that little, pat on the back to say, hey, you know what? Hey, you can do it as well. This person is doing it. We all need it. And so that's why I think it's important for us to, like you said, share the wins, as small as they may be, as big as they may be, just so we're constantly throwing that positive energy out there. But yeah, man, there's still a lot of mistakes that I made that I want to share. So let's get to the next.
Yeah, let's get to the next one. And Axel, just to answer your question, it's a free admission to the Facebook group. The only thing we require is just share a win, man. Pass it on to the next person. So Alex, what's the number 2 biggest mistake that you want to share with the tribe today?
So number 2, you guys, is I wish I would have started learning marketing much sooner, because I had been good at sales, negotiation, that type of stuff. But marketing is a different animal. Being able to, consistently generate deals from marketing, such as cold calling, such as direct mail, such as internet advertising. All these things are skills that you learn, and I didn't learn them fast enough. I feel like I did end up, learning them afterwards, after I worked for my previous mentors, but it wasn't something that was like top of mind. And because of that, I didn't realize the power that you have when you're able to consistently generate your own great real estate investment deals. And that was something that I highly recommend you guys start to learn about it. It might not be sexy, or it might be a little bit boring, but it's super valuable, because you're learning how to fish by putting yourself in front of people that might be interested in selling their property to an investor. So how could that not be super valuable? And so I just want to share with you guys that I was a big mistake, that I didn't learn how to market for off-market deals soon enough.
And we talk about this all the time, right, Alex? There's the push marketing and then there's the pull marketing. And, this is just a way to easily kind of have qualified leads get in touch with you. And that's what you want as a beginning investor is, reps that can convert, and what easier way than to use those marketing channels that are out there and that are available, right?
Yep.
What else is a big mistake that you might have made a little bit more on the networking side? I know we've talked about marketing, we kind of talked about, getting started earlier. What about networking? I know a lot of people are in this particular group to network. What have you learned about that?
Yeah, so that was, I think, another big mistake that I highly recommend you guys don't do, which is, and you're on here, and hopefully that you're not doing this, but I didn't really network with other real estate investors because I saw them as competition, and I saw them as people that I was kind of up against. And so I think that was a big mistake in not only my mindset, but also my actions, because I didn't go out there and meet them and learn from them and see how I could add value to them, simply because, yeah, I was working for another investor, but maybe I didn't feel like I was enough because I was using other people's money. I was just in kind of more of a employee role. And so I didn't have that mindset of, hey, let me go out there and meet other investors and other people network because I'm in this business. So I waited a couple of years, and I wish I would have met a lot of other cool people, other investors much sooner, because every investor has a slightly different business model, different mindset, different experience. So you could literally learn from every single investor, whether they have one property or 100 properties. So why would you not want to meet as many of those as possible?
And you mentioned it just now, like you're out investing or hanging out with another investor.
Network my boys right here.
Perfect timing, right? Here we are. We're talking about networking, and here's two other investors walking in.
We're watching the other room, just making sure, didn't interrupt too much.
There you go. I love it. Well, guys, perfectly timed.
Thank you, man. Oh man, that was awesome, you guys. I didn't plan that. They're in the other room, having a good time here in Cancun or Playa del Carmen, and I'm here working with you guys. See, even though I'm here, I'm making sure I'm trying to pour into you guys, even though I'm with these guys and they want to party.
And again, the cool thing is now you're learning about other strategies, right? You're going to get to learn from this other investor, what's working for him in the Bay Area. Are those things that can maybe transfer down to my business in LA or my business in Hawaii that are also high-end markets? So, it's not like you're just down partying.
And Saj is actually what Jay Martin describes as the tenant whisperer, just like the dog whisperer. And we buy property that are tenant occupied. So I'm going to ask this guy a lot of questions about relocating tenants and buying property with tenants. So that's going to be an interesting conversation the rest of the weekend.
And again, I think everybody in here is in here for the reason of networking, right? So guys, I know we'll do another event with Alex when he gets back into town, and definitely do another meetup, probably another meetup and a hike. But, you nailed it, Alex. I think if you would have started networking earlier and kind of really used your network, it could have led to so much more for you. So what's the next biggest kind of mistake that you want to kind of dive into here?
Yeah, so the next one is being greedy and not buying property simply because you want these monster home run deals. I've seen that happen with a lot of investors. And so for example, I lost several deals where the numbers worked, but I just wanted to negotiate and get a better deal. And I ended up not getting the deal. And then another investor bought it and got a killer deal. So I think it's common for people to just want these like slam dunks, but at the beginning, you really got to take deals down that are, they're average deals, and you can't expect to get home runs on your first deal. Then you have unrealistic expectations. And, if you do enough good deals, that leads you to do the great deals because you just have more experience and you can read the situation. You can analyze deals better. So I just think that was a big mistake, that I got greedy on a couple of deals, like 2 or 3. Now, granted, it did teach me a lot of stuff. And then later on, I was able to not make that same mistake, but I certainly lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on deals just because I was too greedy and trying to get the best deal possible.
Well, I know Linda definitely just left Playa del Carmen, and she isn't talking about house deals, but I think she has a recommendation for a restaurant for you. She said to go check out Zitla and La Perla Pixon while you're down there, Alex. Definitely a chance for you to check out some good food and some good vibes.
Nice, dude. Well, yeah.
So I know
restaurants out here. We were down there on 15th Street, I think it is, and man, there's a lot down there.
So I know we're talking about greedy deals and kind of going out there and getting out and doing some some deals with people, and knowing that your numbers can really change things. So I think we've done an analysis before, and you guys, if you haven't had a chance yet, make sure you go and download Alex's calculator. Again, that is in the Facebook group. You just go over to the files, and right there in the files button is the calculator. So if you're ever, wondering like, hey, am I being too greedy on a deal? Am I pushing that margin too close? Alex, what's our margin that we look for out here in Los Angeles?
Well, it depends on what part of Southern California, but core Los Angeles, we're looking for a 30% cash on cash return or $50,000. It has to meet kind of those two minimum markers for our core Los Angeles flips. And then for the Antelope Valley, we're still looking for a 30% cash on cash return at least, and then a minimum profit of at least $35,000 to $40,000 in that market. So, and then in Hawaii, it's actually much larger than that. It's we want a minimum profit of at least close to 100,000.
And so that just gives you guys an idea of, again, when you're looking at these deals, like what is too greedy, right? So take a look at the calculator. If you don't have a chance, run some numbers in there. Edward just took the words out of my mouth. Like, even if you don't have a deal, just go look at a listing and just say like, at what price would this have been a deal, right? And then that's where you can start looking for homes in that category, in that price range, and see if you can kind of find some leads in that area, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alex, what's another big mistake that you made? I think we're getting down to the number 5 biggest mistake here. What's number 5 on the list?
So number 5 is just working with like average people. Mediocrity is contagious, you guys. I say this because it's true. People that execute at a high level, like the Knicks and the Wills and me and other people, like you want to be around these A players. But you got to be an A player to do that. So I worked with like some C players, and it was just, we weren't aligned because my expectations were high, and, they didn't get it done. And then I was just, there were just headaches. And so, I just really forced people into like roles, and, it just really didn't work out. And I just raised my standard. Like, hey, I'm going to just be an A player. I'm only going to settle for people that are A players, because that type of team member is worth like 5 people. So, like, for example, Will, I mean, he's worth 3 to 5 people at the minimum, compared to like just like 3 to 5 average people. So just keep that in mind, you guys. You're better off, just working on yourself and being an A player, and then attracting those same type of people, than to just go out there and expect to hire an A player, and then you're not an A player, and then you're not going to be able to keep that person. So just keep that in mind. So I think that was a big one. You got to, match up with these people, and iron sharpens iron. So you got to be a top player to attract top players.
And you've mentioned that before, Alex. Again, you want to make sure that you're on the same level with people. So it's not like you can reach out and go 4 or 5 levels up. But if you're getting started, get started with somebody else. If you can provide value to somebody that's the next level up, provide that value. And that's how you can kind of continuously, rank yourself up and work your way up that chart. I know, you specifically, Alex, you mentioned it. You didn't just, get on these people's radars that you got on out of nowhere. It was, hey, you went a year of acquiring, a property a week almost, right? And that's a big number where, people would look at that and be like, hey, how do I not know who this Alex guy is? Like, I might want to meet him. I might want to have him on my radar, right?
Yep.
So A players, I think that's, again, a big takeaway. Make sure you work with people that have the right goals, have the right alignment with you, and, align yourself with A players if you're an A player. We're getting into the back end here, Alex. So we got 5 more. What is your number 6 biggest mistake that you want to share with people?
Yeah, so number 6, you guys, is there were times during my first 2.5 years in this journey, you guys, where I got really discouraged. I was disengaged. I wasn't taking a lot of action. I would take, half of a week off. And I don't mean like I wouldn't work. I was just not engaged at a high level and not intense. And, this business requires that you just are on it. And I remember just thinking like, hey, I'm not making that much. And, I'm making these other people a lot of money. And there were just, several occasions where I just didn't perform for kind of stretches periods of time. And then what happens with that, you guys, is that you lose momentum. And then once you lose momentum, you got to kind of regain it. And so there's a cost to that. And if I would have just been better at managing and balancing my energy, my time, because I got better at that later on towards the end, where I would, take strategic vacations and time off and hiking and things that would enable me to recharge. And I wasn't doing that like as much in the first 2.5 years, because I was just in the game nonstop, working a lot of hours, working a lot of days, and not really developing those habits and like those things that would help me to like not get burnt out, because essentially that's what happened. So just I burnt out and then I lost momentum. So I don't want you guys to do that. I want you guys to know that you need to be able to recharge, and that way you can come back stronger and then keep at the game, because it will take some time for you to actually become profitable in this business. And how are you going to go, that 1.5, 2 years before you see daylight if you're not recharging on a regular basis from all that action you're taking?
And I know, you're a proponent of it, Alex, and we talked about it last week, lifestyle design. So make sure that you kind of, design your lifestyle so that you don't fall into those ruts. You make sure that you stay with the pedal on the gas, the foot on the gas, and make sure that you're going, because those lulls, those stops, you can lose all the momentum that you had going. You might have had a couple of hot leads in the pipeline and you log in and now all of a sudden, hey, those have now been sold. Some other investor already got them. And, you got to make sure that you're always on and don't let that kind of, foot fall off the gas. So Love that one. I think that's a big key right there. And guys, we'll make sure that we have a copy of these top 10 that we post in the Facebook group for you guys as well. Just so you guys can look back and kind of look at these later on and learn from Alex's biggest mistakes. So jumping right in, Alex, what's the next biggest mistake? Number 7.
Okay, so the next one is when I did start networking and I had some success. I had been doing the business for a couple of years. Is I was really afraid to ask people that I had built relationships with for help. And so I think that was another ego thing where I had already a certain amount of success, and then I met these people and I didn't want to feel like I was bugging them. But then I noticed later on that the people that were at the highest levels, they were asking me for little favors or help or this and that, and they weren't afraid to do it. And so I'm like thinking to myself, like, well, these people are at a super high level, much higher than me, and they're not afraid to ask for help. And so why am I? So I think that was another mistake where, for example, like not trying to get a project manager for the company, that was dedicated to helping us manage these projects sooner. I could have paid someone, or I could have just figured out the structure of something that would work for my company sooner, if I had just been asking for help. So I think that's important, you guys. Now, a lot of people ask for help when they haven't done shit, they haven't even taken any action. They're just like asking all these questions and whatnot. But I'm talking about once you've genuinely gone out there, taken some action, figured some things out, and then once you reach some success, then you got to go ahead and start asking for even more help, because now you have that momentum. Now you have a reason to be able to ask these questions, because it's based off these genuine needs that you have off of action.
And we've talked about this before. Like I've come to Alex where I've been in a position and I said, hey, Alex, I need help getting past X, Y, and Z. And it's not like a vague question, but it's, hey, I've taken specific action and I'm in a specific conversation and I need some specific guidance. And Alex might be like, hey, you know what? I haven't even been in this type of situation before. This is something that I need to lean on my network and kind of tap into that and see if we can go get some help. And again, I think you nailed it, Alex. If you are willing to do that sooner, if you're willing to take action sooner, you can tap into those resources a lot sooner as well.
Yeah, and Alex Ibarra does that a lot in Hawaii, where he'll take on something. For example, he was helping relocate the tenants, and then it was a little bit over his head, because we're talking about some seasoned tenants that have been there for some time, and they're not. They're kind of hostile, and so he was able to say, you know what, hey Alex, it's your turn to take this over, because I can't handle this anymore. But it did take him, obviously some ego, right? Removing his ego and say, hey, this is over my head. Can you please help me on this? And I've done the same thing when I've reached out to some of my higher network on like, hey, how do I do this? It's a matter of just asking for the help. So yeah, man, don't network with these higher level people if you're not going to be able to actually leverage them based off of action, because that's a super fast, quick way for you guys to learn.
Yeah. And again, I think the idea that you want to kind of continuously go towards is take action, right? If you've taken action, then it's a lot easier for you to network and ask these questions, right? It's not like you're coming from a place of, hey, I'm trying to figure out how to remove a tenant. It's, hey, I have a specific situation with a specific tenant. I've already tried, and now I need a little bit of assistance to get past it. So, again, those are moments where as a team member, you have to know, hey, I can lean on my team. And that's why Ibarra knows, hey, if I need some help, I can kind of go up the chain and get that help. So, those are the values of having a team around you, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So we talked about tapping into the network here. What about some financial mistakes? Like what can we talk about on the financial side that might be able to share, some guidance for some of the folks here in the tribe?
Yeah, so I think that's a big one, because I would have a much larger portfolio if I had put myself in a position to be able to do more burrs and keep more rental property. And because, granted, the first couple of years I wasn't making that much money, because I was paying my dues and I was working for other investors and not, eating the lion's share of whatever we were making. But I could have set some things up in order to be able to, being able to qualify for more bird type of properties, because since I haven't, then that's cost me the ability to hold on to more of the property. So I think that's a big one that I will say, that I don't want you guys just to think about flipping houses. Yeah, I want you guys to build wealth and passive income. And to do that, a lot of people don't talk about how important it is to be financeable, bankable, as they say, and be able to get a conventional loan to refinance and keep that property. And so this year has now finally, I'm gonna be able to do that a lot more, but I should have been able to do that a year, 2 years ago, if I would have just kind of set a couple of things up in a different way and structure in my business, and then my income and the way things were working out. So just want you guys not to make that same mistake. But this year we're going hard at the passive income investments, and definitely gonna be scaling up the portfolio.
And again, it takes a little bit of time to kind of assess that and figure out where you're going. But I think getting your finances in order earlier is definitely the key kind of takeaway there, is make sure that you plan so that you're not failing to plan later on, right? We had a great question here, and we'll just answer it real quick. Alan is wondering if this can be shared afterwards. And yeah, Alan, of course, we do have a YouTube page, Ask Alex, and all of these videos, as well as some new stuff we're going to start putting on there. So let us know, guys, in the Facebook group. Shoot me a DM, shoot Alex a DM. What do you guys need help on? What do you want Alex to make a YouTube video on? What else can we share with you guys that's important? Like what we're doing right now is us in an office. Can we show you things in the field? Can we show you things with other people? Would you guys like another in-depth interview with, Jay Martin, where he kind of talks about more financial freedom and lifestyle design? You guys let us know, and we can help kind of get that stuff out for you. But in the meantime, please do use the YouTube page, Ask Alex Camacho TV. It's on there, and we have all of the recordings on there. One of our incredible team members, going back to the last point Alex made, point number 7 about reaching into your network. It's, hey, we have somebody in our network that's really good at YouTube and managing that kind of stuff, and he's able to kind of set us up and help do this so that we have really high quality recordings available for you guys on there. So again, shout out to Hector. We really appreciate all the help that you do on the YouTube page there, man.
Yep, 100%. Thank you.
So Alex, we've talked financing, we've talked networking, momentum, team members. What's a big mistake in terms of tracking?
So yeah, a big mistake on that was not tracking our numbers well, and it's commonly called KPIs, key performance indicators. And because naturally, that's not an area that I love to spend a lot of time on, just like the details and spreadsheets and numbers and processes. So I think I did a poor job of that. And because of that, I threw a lot of money away on marketing that wasn't working, or I didn't invest more in marketing that was working. And so that might not be an area for you guys that you love, especially when it comes to like salespeople and people that are like closers, people that are, more on that side of things. We need the operations people, right? We need the administrative people to help us balance out and then build the business out and make sure that we are focusing on the strategies that are giving us the highest return on our investment. And I didn't do that well at the beginning. Now we do that a lot better, but not having the right team, not being good at the numbers, it all kind of compounded, and I lost on opportunities or spent money on stuff that just wasn't working. And so I really want you guys not to avoid those mistakes and make sure that you're able to somehow track your activities and track your investments, so that you can just get a better and better. And because it's a constant moving target too, one quarter this might be working, the next quarter it's not working as well, and something else is working. So it's constantly changing, and if you don't track the numbers well, you can't make adjustments. So that's another big reason to it.
And look, I mean, you talked about it earlier in one of your first 2 points was the marketing side of things, right? And so not being able to track your marketing, that's huge, right? And it falls right into the team side of things, making sure you have a team around you so that if you're not good at, YouTube marketing or Facebook marketing or, Google marketing, hey, let's let somebody else kind of handle that and let me focus on the things that I am good and that I do bring to the team. So, not tracking your KPIs, I think everybody in the room is probably a little bit guilty of that at some point or another. But it's something that you can always improve on, right?
Absolutely. Everybody can improve it. If not, hire it out or just find a way to have somebody in the team take care of that because it's critical.
So one of the last things we wanted to touch on, guys, is the big number 10, right? So Alex, what is the 10th biggest mistake that you wanted to share with the tribe here? And in the meantime, guys, I'll post this in the chat again. But if you wanted to share one of your big mistakes, now is the time to either shoot me a message, reply back here in the chat, or go ahead and raise your hand so that we know that you wanted to share. And this will be your opportunity to kind of share a big mistake that you might have made and the tribe might be able to kind of learn from also.
Yeah. So number 10, guys, this was one of my biggest mistakes ever, was not developing a consistent sales process or way of raising private money so I could take down more deals. Because as we began to scale last year and beginning of this year, even more, we've had a lot of more opportunities. And I've simply ignored some of those opportunities just because it was going to take a lot more capital than we currently had. And we were already profitable and we were already starting to develop stuff. So I think the more money you have access to, the better. But you need to have the system and the people in place to be able to, administer that capital and deploy that capital and get a great ROI on that. And we had that, but I just didn't prioritize that. I think part of it is because borrowing money from people is not something that anybody really likes doing, and owing money to people, even though it is in the context of an investment, you're providing a solid opportunity for them, and then they're helping you, obviously grow your business. I think it was a big ego thing for me that I just wanted to just operate with my capital and not use other people, so I wouldn't have to necessarily, I feel like, maybe work for other people, because you do have to answer these people. You are borrowing their money. And so I just didn't maximize like our income potential, our profit potential enough. I think we could have easily taken down maybe like another 10 deals in the last year, just because I just didn't raise enough capital. And then those opportunities that came up, I didn't take advantage of them just because, we didn't have that capital available or committed. It doesn't mean like you just raise this capital and then you have all this money sitting in the bank. No, it's just you got to go out there and get commitments from people that are willing to invest with you under those terms. And then that way you find the deals and then make sure that, you have the funding lined up. And I didn't get those commitments, even though they were available. I have the network, I have the people, but I didn't go out there because I was just stuck on this, like, let me just do it with my money. Let me just do it with my current business model. But it was growing faster than even I expected. And then I didn't just catch up to it by, raising enough capital. Now, right now, that's become a little bit more of my priority. And I've actually developed more of a process. And then, I'm just more open about needing the capital for certain deals with people that I know that have it, they're good potential money partners. But, that was just a big mistake. I think that could have cost us, $1 million in profit because of not taking more deals down that we had, at our fingertips. So yeah, man, big mistake.
And Linda's asking a great question here in the chat. How do you find the people to trust and work with to expand, right? Well, Alex, you just nailed it right there. It's hey, if you're having trouble with cash reserves, then use your experience to find somebody with cash that doesn't want to do the work. And that's what you just mentioned there, Alex, is not being afraid to say, hey, I have a track record. I've done this before. I can show my performance. I can show my work. I can show my finishes. I can show my craftsmanship. I can show the product that I put out. And if other people want to work with you, it speaks for itself after you have that on the record, right?
Yep.
And Alex, you nailed it, is, in terms of expanding, there's no way that we can take down as many deals as we're taking down without using private money, without reaching out to other people that have that cash available and just aren't using it, but, are more than happy to let us use it and make a return on it.
Exactly.
So guys, you heard it here. First, these are, Alex's 10 biggest mistakes that he has made along his real estate investing career. And, obviously these are mistakes that we can all kind of, take record from and learn from, so that we don't fall into the same shoes and have those same mistakes kind of come along our way. What we're going to do now is I don't see anybody right now that's raised their hand. So I'm assuming nobody has a big mistake that they want to share. Again, if you did, now is your time. Speak now or forever hold your peace. And if we don't have anybody mention it, what we'll do is we'll do what we normally do and kind of bring everybody onto the screen for the last 5 or 10 minutes here or so, and kind of hang out and chit chat, and we'll talk it through. Looks like Ed's raising his hand, so we're going to bring Edward on here real quick. And Edward, tell us a little bit about. It's going to cut him off for a second there while he's joining us. But Edward, welcome, man. Tell us a little bit about a big mistake that you might have made either on the realtor side or the real estate investment side that you might want to share with some people.
My favorite day of the week. Happy to be here again. Thank you guys again, as always. So because I'm a real estate agent, I had a deal lined up where it was in the palm of my hand. We had the price locked up. I knew what they wanted. We got a little too greedy with the pricing. Oh, 850 is too high. We want to do 825. Passed on it because it was like the first one. We're scared. We didn't know where the market was going. And someone else bought the deal for 850. 2 weeks after us. 3 months later, they sold it for 1.15. Obviously, they fixed it up, but there's no way your rehab is gonna cost it. Like, they made a lot of money. Also, I'm a realtor. I would have got my commission, and like a lot of money was left on the table. And I keep referring back to it, but also it's like one great thing I heard in regards to investment is I'd rather pass up something I was right about than buy something I was wrong about. So I learned, like, hey, I messed up, but I know my numbers are right. I know the entire process leading up to me closing the deal was right. Like, I networked, I was active, I was involved, and yeah, I didn't pull the trigger, but maybe next time I will, and that'll make more money, or I won't pull the trigger on something that I just don't have the gut feeling for. So does it suck? Of course. Is it a learning experience? 100%. So I think the moral of the story is trust your numbers. Sometimes trust your gut. But hey, you're gonna make mistakes. Mine cost me a lot.
Dude, thank you for sharing, Edward. I want to recommend a book about that because it made me think about this book called Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke. She's a World Series of Poker. And I read that book last year. I've got a ton of notes on it. But she said, because there's luck sometimes, and make sure you're studying the process of your decision making more than the outcome of that decision, because sometimes there's luck that's involved in that decision, right? And then we're just attributing that, oh, that was a bad decision. No, you just got unlucky, and understand the difference. I think that's where you're understanding there, that you the process, like you said, fundamentally was solid. You just stuck to your numbers and you end up being right. And that you're gonna learn from that, compared to like buying something that I just stretching it, forcing the numbers a little bit, and then buying something that was gonna be potentially a bad deal. Thank you for sharing, my man.
Thank you guys.
Dude, Edward, I appreciate you sharing, bro. And I mean, the biggest thing, guys, this was a double whammy. So this is what we were asking for, is what was the mistake? But just like all 10 of Alex's that he shared, Edward took learning moments from this. So that's the most important thing, is you take these bumps and bruises, and now you learn, and now you have more data, and you can make more, decisions down the line. So, Edward, you nailed it. It's now I know what the numbers are. So if another deal presents itself, now hey, I know this is a deal, or I know it's not a deal, because for it to be a deal, it would need to be at that number, and it's not at that number. If it's at 850, we have a deal. At 925, no can do. I've run my numbers on this before. I've seen this deal before. I appreciate you sharing that, Edward, because that's just a huge learning moment, right?
Definitely. And I hope everyone gets the same opportunity and kills it. That's kind of the point of this.
So we do appreciate you being vulnerable. It always sucks to share about a deal that might have slipped right through your hands. It's like agonizing, and I don't want to let people know that I failed. But again, you see people in the chat right now. You're going to have better luck on the next one, man. And I think that's the biggest thing is you took something from it, you learned something from it, you grew from it, and you're ready for the next time around.
Yeah, 100%. You win or learn.
Yep. Guys, if you aren't following Edward, dude is an amazing resource in the tribe. He's in the Facebook group. You can reach out to him. He'll help you pull some leads. If you aren't able to make calls yet and you aren't reaching out to people, get in touch with the dude. And he's also a real estate agent. So he's licensed and he knows things about markets, knows things about the sales process. If you ever need anything, feel free to use the guy. He's a great resource. And he's been putting out some fire content about real estate transactions. And if you just want to learn a couple cues and tips, make sure you check the dude out. All right.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for sharing with us today, guys. And we'll go ahead and keep welcoming everybody else onto the screen right now as well. And let everybody else kind of connect in real quick before we wrap the meeting up. If anybody does have anything they wanted to share, any big kind of takeaways or big lessons, now's the chance. Feel free to kind of share that with everybody else here. I know, there's a lot of smarter people in the room than Alex and myself. So if you guys have anything to share as well, I see, Derek in here. I see Daniel Kong in here. I see some guys in here that are, doing some big things. So feel free to share if you guys have anything as well.
Bunch of studs in the building and some boss ladies. Let's go.
I see Marina in the building. I know she just took down a deal. Really excited for that. That's awesome stuff. A lot of people here again that have, probably learned a thing or two and might be able to share it with us as well. All right.
Yeah, that's a good webinar, guys. I like sharing all the screw ups, all the mistakes. I mean, I've made a lot more than those 10, but we just nailed them down to the top 10 to make sure that you guys don't make those. And then maybe we'll have another 10 in like 10 webinars from now, because I bet you we're going to make some more mistakes. Oh man, this is fun, guys. Wednesday is definitely one of my favorite days of the week. Oh, my man Derek's in the building. What's up, my man? Daniel, Frank, Ulysses, Jay. Oh, Jay's over there with Fabiola. What's up, girls?
Hi.
So what's up?
Hey.
Amari in the building. What's up, stud? Anybody got anything to share? Any mistakes they've made or any wins? I mean, we're coming up on our cutoff time, and I gotta hang out with these other investors, man. They're over here. They got a couple of Dos Equis ready to go.
There you go, guys. Anybody have a win they want to share? Any big learning moments? Jay, any big learning moments that you've kind of had out at any of the properties, any of the projects? Doug, I know you've done some rental deals. Anything you've kind of learned along the way, and any of your buy and holds that might be valuable to share along? I know we had a couple questions about some tenants, and Alex, we had some suggestions on the YouTube, maybe something about how to manage tenants or how to set up some of our systems and standard operating procedures and maybe some of our KPIs that we're tracking. So maybe we can try and do that on one of our webinars and YouTube videos coming up, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have a small win to take the mic again, but I was a little late to this because I was in a meeting with someone who's gonna set me up for with a VA. So I'm kind of like doubling down, where not only am I gonna be cold calling, but also having someone else call at the same time. It's actually someone from Ryan Pineda's rookie program that I'm in referred him and made the connection. So I'm using that resource to now double down again, like burn the bridge, go all in, and just funneling more leads into my system. Currently, one of the guys is getting like 30 leads a week. It's crazy to me. And because I'm a real estate agent again, is the buyer seller doesn't matter either way. It's a transaction. So it's double down. And if anyone needs resources or if you don't know where to start, like Alex knows definitely where to start. If I can help in any way, like they've mentioned and Will mentioned, is ask. If you're scared, ask. If you want to role play, ask. There's a lot of amazing people in here that I've met, and use this as much as you can. And Alex, you've created an amazing group here. Will, thank you guys, and just double down. It's simple as that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, guys. Anybody else has anything to talk about? We got about 2 minute. Come on, crew.
It's Modelo o'clock down in Mexico. I don't think they have the coronavirus down there. I think they got the Modelo virus or the Dos Equis virus. So it's about that time for Alex. I'm going to put somebody on the spot real quick here. Irish, I want to hear from you because you just submitted some offers this week. What is a big mistake that you learned from submitting a couple of offers this week that might have, led to you getting to some success here this past week?
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, definitely. I think, a small mistake for me, which could definitely be a big one in the long term, was that I was analyzing deals for close to 3 months before I made my first offer. And I don't know what it was. I think it was just like, oh, I don't want to bother my agent, or okay, this deal looks good, but it's $20 below my minimum, small things like that. But as soon as I put my first offer 3 or 4 weeks ago, I got under contract last week, and I actually did inspections earlier this week. And now I have a general contractor walking the property. So I'm going to hear about getting like contractor bids and all of that by Friday. So yeah, exciting stuff.
So that's a huge mistake. And again, just like with Edwards and just like with Alex, it's not like you let that mistake eat at you. It's, hey, I learned I'm not going to get a deal if I don't make an offer. So no matter what I do, Edward was sitting there shaking his head. He was like, no, you're not bugging your real estate agent. Make that offer. Let's go.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a great way to end it, guys, is, just like Irish said, take action, make offers. You guys know that you can get back out of an offer. If you make an offer, you can always walk it back. You can always leave that contingency in there. So keep it up, guys. Keep firing off our offers and let us know if there's anything we can help out with. All right.
Agents make a nice return on house sales. Bother them as much as you can.
Yeah.
This one's yours, Drew.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Let's go.
See ya. Thanks, Alex.
Enjoy your week, guys.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you
guys.
guys.